Well, it's going to be winter by the weekend, and well, for some people they're dreading it, but I must say I'm a little bit excited about it. In particular, because I see winter as a wonderful opportunity to hibernate. Joining us on the program now, Tanya Unkovic. Tanya, kia ora, good afternoon.
Hello.
Are you a fan of hibernating for winter? I mean, I'm not saying necessarily grab a big fur coat, but I suppose the opportunity for a bit of a midwinter reset. What's your thoughts?
I do it every year. Truthfully,
Yep.
I'm like a big snug bear. I absolutely love hibernating. I set goals. I buy new journals. I do everything in the winter indoors. I love it.
I mean, it is a wonderful season to rest and restore, to perhaps reevaluate our priorities and look at our schedules ahead. Do you think?
Absolutely. And, instead of going into winter with this, oh God, here comes winter,
Yeah.
which so many of us do, we tend to just kind of let go. I always say to people, flip it around and go, yay, this is winter. I've got 3 glorious months to invigorate and get my passion back again and maybe catch up on some things. There's so many good reasons why winter is fantastic.
You can be a little bit less frantic and a little bit more focused. It does help to perhaps sharpen the pencil when it comes to priorities. I also think of it as a little bit of a winter metamorphosis, that we're going into our chrysalis, and in spring we'll all come out as beautiful butterflies, an opportunity to reinvent ourselves perhaps.
Yes, and that's why I always say to people, my clients, is, okay, at the beginning of winter, I want you to just fast forward 3 months to September,
Yep.
and how good it's going to feel when you have done A, B, C,
Yep.
or transformed A, B, C. Get into that state, get excited about that final outcome, and then go, okay, I've got 12 weeks ahead of me to do all that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just helps you really work at it.
And it gives you, I suppose, that focus of a deadline. It's a finite period of time. It gives you something to look forward to. I suppose to work with the metaphor, it's kind of like as the caterpillar is making the chrysalis or the cocoon, he's already thinking about himself as a butterfly or herself.
Yes, absolutely. Picturing it, feeling it, getting excited about it. And this is why it's so good to do this, because when things do get tough during winter, let's say the weather's really bad for a week and you're stuck inside, you've got a very strong vision and a very strong reason why during that tough week you go, actually, I'm not going to let this get me down. I've got something great to look forward to. Come on, girl, get up and do it.
Yeah, and we've got seasons for a purpose, haven't we? And we're just, I suppose, about to enter into what is going to be more of an indoor season. Of course, the Northern Hemisphere, it's a bit of a different prospect there. And with some Northern Hemisphere countries, there's just snow all around and you just can't go outside because you'd freeze to death. Here it's more like rainy and muddy and a little bit miserable. But we've kind of lost some of the Northern Hemisphere traditions because we're all topsy-turvy down here in the Antipodes. During winter, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, they have Christmas and New Year and Thanksgiving. I suppose we've got the new tradition of Matariki in New Zealand. That's kind of about new beginnings as well, isn't it?
It sure is. We've got Mataringi, and we can also do a midwinter Christmas.
Yes.
And we can also do a celebration for anything. Just to have a celebration to bring everyone together without the need for gifts and the pressure of all of those other things that we often put upon ourselves at Christmas time. Just make it a celebration of family and togetherness.
Now, it is tempting, I suppose, in this hibernation routine to just sort of hide away, to cut ourselves off. And we've been through, more than our fair share of that with recent seasons of lockdowns, not just in winter, but right throughout the year. It can be a bit tempting, a bit of a temptation to cut ourselves off, to be a bit of a bear with a sore head hiding in our cave, telling everybody to go away. It's tempting to do that, but we must avoid that temptation.
You absolutely must, because that can actually turn into a spiral of isolation. You know, one day turns into a week, into
Yeah.
a month. And then before we know it, all this time on our own, and the only person we're talking to is the person in our head, all that chatter going on.
Yeah.
And you can easily fall into a very dark place. So I really encourage you to continue with your support networks, your groups. If you have to do Zoom because the weather's bad, then so be it.
Yeah.
But get an accountability person, and both of you have, or the whole group, have a really good purpose for that 3 months. Make it a period of beautiful transformation, whatever that looks like, whether it be internal or external or both.
I think, going back to the Northern Hemisphere traditions, perhaps that is the reason for some of those midwinter celebrations. I mean, you talked about midwinter Christmas as a great idea. And for people in the Northern Hemisphere, with Christmas and New Year being at that time of the year, I suppose it gave them an excuse for intentional celebrations and togetherness, even when the weather, I mean, it's easier to get together and be social when the weather's great, but we perhaps need to be a bit more intentional and purposeful about it when the weather isn't so good.
Yes, absolutely. I know myself, when the weather's bad outside, it's very easy to just stay inside. As the saying goes, just do it.
Yeah.
We need to just make ourselves schedule it into your diary, write it in your diary if you have to, because if you don't commit to it, then you will not do it. So discipline is something to pull out of your back pocket for winter, because we really do need that discipline to just get up and do what we have promised ourselves that we are going to do for ourselves.
I must say, I'm looking forward to a little bit of hibernation over winter. I'm not sure what my my metamorphosis will be, but I need to be a little bit intentional and perhaps set some goals about the sorts of things that I'm wanting to achieve this year. And hey, winter, a very good time to do that. Lots of tips and advice on helping to be the best version of ourselves available online. Lots of resources available free of charge as well. That's all on your website, Tanya.
Yes, tanyaunkovich.com.